And a very good evening to you. I'm Sophia Cambridge, sitting in for Shane Jones tonight, the 28th of July 2017. We start on a sad note tonight. Despite the efforts of a Christchurch man to change his life, residents say elements from his past have come back to haunt him. He was shot and killed on his birthday. Kareem Smith has the story.
Gun violence continues to wreak havoc across this country. This time it's a 34-year-old here at a bar in Parish Land in Christchurch. The blood was still fresh in the mud next to Soalian Bar. An awful reminder of the incident that robbed friends, family and neighbours of 34-year-old Clauston Robinson, better known as Stunner, or Stun Gun, on his birthday. It happened at around 2:30 in the morning, but still liming at the shop well into the day were a number of his friends, all present when the celebration turned ugly. One of them, who didn't give his name, recounted his version of the brazen attack by an unidentified man.
He looked at me, he looked at Stun Gun. Very several times. He leave and he come back. But I didn't know he went home for a gun. When he come back, he shoots Stunner. He shoots Stunner.
Where you were?
I was right beside Stunner.
The owner of Soalian Bar gave a very direct response to questions about the incident.
I heard a bang and I thought it was somebody threw a bottle. I never knew that he was shot till I heard the screaming. So it has nothing to do with my shop, nothing. So I want you to make that clear. And if it isn't clear, we have a problem because it has nothing to do with this shop. Thank you.
Considering that it was like just like sort of, do you have any feelings about the incident?
Of course, we are human. We are human and we got feeling when something like this happened. But we do not want people to believe that it happened at the shop.
Residents say the two men had been at odds from over a decade ago, a time when men from two sections of Parish Land were involved in a vicious feud. While they admitted Clauston had previous run-ins with the law, things had supposedly changed.
Stunner had the problems. I'm not going to tell you, no lie. He had the problems. He had his problems. All of you got my problems. I got problems too. I call it. I call it. That's drink I call. I ain't sure to tell about that. Stunner got problems. All of you got problems. But at least it changed. Right? He had a girlfriend here. Make a family with his daughter. And try to help his family man. And he heard it. He brought it up.
The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, along with the Ministry of Culture and the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, have reached an agreement which ensures that Carifesta 13 is viewed by the widest possible audience. CBC's General Manager Doug Hoyt signed the agreement, confirming that the corporation is the new broadcasting agency overseeing all broadcast arrangements for Carifesta. In addition, the Secretary General of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union signed an agreement giving the Caribbean Media Corporation broadcast rights throughout the region and as far afield as New York, Canada and the United Kingdom. Minister of Culture Stephen Lashley says the agreements are key to broadening the impact of Carifesta.
The reach, of course, in terms of Carifesta, availability in terms of broadcast will be very wide. And we would have started this discourse in a way that allows us to really do this in all fairness to our artists who will be performing. And as you know, Carifesta provides an opportunity to exhibit the best in terms of the cultural offerings of the region.
And CBC's General Manager Doug Hoyt says the agreement is part of the CBC's role in promoting cultural development across the region. He adds the corporation has established Carifesta Television, a separate broadcast entity giving 24-hour coverage of the festival from its start on August 17th until it concludes on August 27th. According to Mr. Hoyt, the corporation is taking steps to significantly improve its services, and the Carifesta agreement provides a great opportunity to showcase them.
This will also give the CBC and its people a chance to be exposed to some of the latest technology, because this will be done in high definition. It is a transition that we're making for the benefit ultimately of all of Barbadian viewers, and we're excited in particular about this opportunity to do something different but do it better as well.
And with just 3 weeks to go before the start of Carifesta 13 here in Barbados, a platform has been created to allow regional youth to express their views on topical issues during the 10-day festival. Organisers of this year's festival have borrowed the concept of a youth village, which was first introduced in Guyana in 2008. Sharika Griffith has more.
These two young men are among several local artists expected to attend the Carifesta Youth Village. Having both chosen careers in the musical field, they are already seeing the benefits of such a workshop.
The more opportunity I get to meet other artists and see how they approach music, the better for me, because it helps my understanding for it, you know, and I look forward to hopefully being able to work with some of the artists sometimes in the future.
I think it will benefit me to see lots of different talents. I think it will benefit me to get me more exposure in my art.
Young people will feature prominently in the execution of this year's Carifesta. And according to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Ruth Blackman, this was the intention even before Barbados had been announced as this year's host country.
Then we got together and decided that Barbados was going to put in a bid to host Carifesta. There were two things that were very evident in the discussion. One was the cultural industries, and the other one was youth. We wanted these two elements to play a significant role in whatever we were going to portray.
This forum will seek to shed light on issues affecting the region's youth through workshops and creative sessions, as well as to celebrate their artistic talents. Festival Director Andrea Wells says several of the delegations coming for the festival will be made up of people under the age of 30.
There's going to be activity in visual arts, in performing arts, both workshops as well as performances. So it's going to be an energetic space. You know, artists are energetic, and young artists are doubly energetic. So there's going to be something there for everyone. Workshops for the young, but showcases that families, everyone can come and engage in.
The initiative will be funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, and according to Chief of Operations Javier Ura, the bank recognizes the developmental role it can play by supporting such initiatives.
We at the IDB, we are aware that Barbados is going through complicated times. We are a bank that we are extremely respectful of any sensitivity, but we are also aware of that, and we are very glad that we are partners in not only on energy or transport or macroeconomic dialogue, but also in areas like education, social protection, because we are aware that the society of Barbados is going through some complicated times, and if we can support that through the government and in partnership with the government, we feel very, very glad with that.
The Youth Village will run from August 18th to 22nd at the Barbados Community College. Sharika Griffith, Cbc News.
Thank you, Sharika. The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, or CTUSAB, is calling for public servants' wages and salary negotiations to resume. General Secretary Dennis DePisa says the Congress is deeply concerned about how long the 2014 to 2016 salary talks have been ongoing. He notes that there have not been any meetings since July of last year, and in an effort to jumpstart the process, CTUSAB wrote a letter to the Ministry of the Civil Service requesting a meeting.
Concerning the last meeting convened by the Ministry of Civil Service was that the 21st of April 2017, the Congress really has to communicate its dissatisfaction over the continued slow pace of the talks, and therefore has been making an urgent call on the Ministry of Civil Service to move with alacrity in addressing the protracted nature of the negotiations. CTUSAB is contending that the inordinate length of time that is taken to complete the negotiation process and to arrive at the U.S. inside of corporate public workers is highly unacceptable at this point.
The Spiritual Baptist faith was united as hundreds of Spiritual Baptists gathered to say their goodbyes to their late Archbishop Malcolm Babb today. He received a grand send-off Spiritual Baptist style. Bishop Babb was ordained as Archbishop, replacing the late Patriarch Dr. Granville Williams in May of this year, and he passed away just over a week ago. We hear more in this report from Kishmar Saint-Just.
There were no questions as to the character of the late Archbishop Malcolm Babb. Speaker after speaker confirmed he was a family man who was dedicated to his wife, his job, and the church. As his older brother, Douglas Babb, he says they got along well. He shared his memories dating back more than 50 years ago.
Malcolm was quiet, but he had a great sense of humor, and the two of us shared a deep bond. Mom took sick, and being the older boy, I had to do all the chores of the house, of course, while Malcolm was outside playing his cricket. He pretended he was a fast bowler. And the only time that you would hear him raise his voice was when he thought he had bowled somebody clean and they didn't want to give up. But he was always a very nice guy.
Messages of condolences were offered from the leaders of other spiritual Baptist churches in Barbados.
When we were boys, we were preaching in this country. We didn't know that until we are old, but we remember that God said He needs young men in their strength. Where are the men in the house of God today?
The Lion of Judah has gone home. His voice thundered to transform men from darkness to light and from wrong to right.
A young man have much to say about my beloved brother. He baptized me on this road to carry the gospel. Let me say this before he says something more. I was a young man. Malcolm Henderson Babb was not a bishop. He was not an archbishop, but he was a shepherd.
The turnout at the service moved Arch High Priest Marcus Waldron.
When I look through the congregation, I see them coming from every quarter. When I see my brother just out of hospital and he is here, that warms my heart. When I see my brother and my sister from over the big waters, those I came and found, like Teacher Sylvia, I am wonderfully glad.
The Unified Spiritual Baptist Front was also recognized by the Barbados Evangelical Society.
The greatest tribute that we can give to our deceased Archbishop Malcolm is to forge the legacy that will maintain the integrity of the Baptist faith. The pettiness stand down. The merging of entities come together, and the blessings of God will come down.
Archbishop Malcolm Babb was laid to rest at the Westbury Cemetery. Kishmar Saint-Just, CBC News.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 # to sign up to Digicel today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event on Saturday, August 5th at 8 p.m. The Courtesy Garage Limited Mountgate Pick of the Crop Finals will heat up as reigning monarch Aziza battles Colin Spencer, Donella, Adrian Clark, Crystal, Classic, Edwin, iWeb, Smokey Burke, Observer, and Sir Rule at the Kensington Oval 3Ws Amphitheater. Early bird ground tickets, $45. Early bird 3W stand tickets, $60. Regular tickets are $55 for the ground and $75 for the 3W stand. Find out who will be the 2017 Calypso Monarch at the Courtesy Garage Limited Mountgate Pick of the Crop Finals in the Kensington Oval 3Ws Amphitheater on August 5th at 8 p.m.
Before I lose it, take my stress away, yeah.
The stage is set for the 2017 Soca Royale. Tune in to CBC TV 8 this coming Saturday, July 29th at 9:30 p.m. for the semi-finals of the Party Monarch competition. That's Saturday, July 29th, 9:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8 for the Party Monarch semi-finals.
Walking Fest is the thing. Yeah, this coming Monday, July 31st at the Kensington Oval. Look out for me, Sean Marshall, and there. Yes, it's the annual Walking Fest. We got all the artist friends, no matter where you are in the world. A lot of big artists coming to perform for you live. So make sure you get your tickets. We're famous. Yeah, Walking Fest. Come to have a great time. Come on, jump up, and connect to free up, voila.
Well, we move to news of crop over now, and Soca lovers are gearing up for one of the biggest competitions of the season. The Soca Royale is set to come off this Sunday. CBC's Sharika Griffith took to the streets of the capital, Bridgetown, to find out who the people will be supporting.
Come Sunday, a bumper crowd is expected to descend on Bushy Park as usual, and the artists will be pulling out all the stops in an attempt to dethrone reigning kings Edwin Yearwood and Lil Rick. But what's noticeably different this year is that the people seem more eager to hear the soothing sounds of the Sweet Soca competition rather than the faster pace associated with the Party Monarch.
Well, Party Monarch, I don't really have anybody because I ain't really hearing the songs that really grab me. But for the Sweet Soca, for sure, right? Plastic Bag, Sanctuary, and TC.
I want to give it to you. That's about it, sorry. Yeah.
Anybody for Party Monarch?
To be honest, I honestly do not know the lineup.
All the way Edwin Yearwood. And any boy else could really wants to have a good time.
TC, Bag, Marvin.
So you don't think Edwin is going to retain the crown?
That is more than likely possible, but I feel strongly about those three.
And what about Party Monarch?
I am not too sure about Party Monarch.
And those who did have a top pick for Party Monarch believe reigning king Lil Rick will successfully defend his crown.
With the Party Monarch, I feel Hyper Dog will win it. I feel Hyper Dog got it.
And what about the Sweet Soca?
The Sweet Soca will go get the Marvin though.
Sweet Soca, my pick is Bag. I just like that song, so I just hoping that he wins. And for Party Monarch, I ain't too sure. Probably Lil Rick again.
For Party Monarch, I got Lil Rick. And for Sweet Soca, I have between Sanctuary and Marsville.
Sweet Soca is either Edwin or Bag, and Party Monarch should be Lil Rick.
So you think that the two kings going to retain their crown from last year?
Yeah, they should do very good, but I'm working with the Soca boat for sure, and I know Edwin can give a very good account for himself.
Well, Party Monarch, I have to back my boy Little Rick. But us ladies in here at Inspired the Salon, we rocking with the Soca boat for Sweet Soca.
If there's one thing we can all agree on, is that you don't want to miss out on the action. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thank you, Sharika. Mixed views there, but all will be revealed on Sunday. In other news, Cancer Support Services is seeing an increase in the number of men coming forward for the prostate-specific antigen or PSA test. The news was revealed during the launch of the Cancer Support Services men's group yesterday evening at the Accra Hotel. Chief Executive Officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. Dexter James, encouraged the group to talk about issues that men are afraid to discuss.
Men don't like to talk about their own sexuality. Men don't like to talk about impotence. Men don't like to talk about particular addictions that they have, all right? And through this forum, you could widen the scope of discussions to include a number of men's issues that ordinarily will find it difficult to talk to or women folk about. But in an environment where each one will feed off of each other, you have that level of comfort, you have that level of an environment that is non-threatening, and you could share among yourselves common issues that each could relate to.
So to come and look at some of the stories making headlines across our region.
Mommy, the boat is rocking. Listen, Bacchanal Time presents the best of crop over Wednesday, August the 2nd. The 2nd? Yeah, the 2nd. And Thursday, August the 3rd. And the Lord Erskine starting from Center. All the best acts, red plastic bags, little red egg, red Peter, round stiffy, spreader, all look at me there. Go and get your tickets now. $70 available from CS Pharmacy. A&B Sheraton, Salt Black Rock, Eddie Spice Town, and all merch on the spares, no less. The boat is rocking. Mommy!
Name the capital of St. Vincent.
I have no idea.
The capital of St. Vincent is Kingstown.
Kingstown.
The capital of St. Vincent, I think, is Castries.
St. Vincent, Kingston.
Kingston. Kingstown. Okay.
Gary Festa 13, Barbados.
Flags? Check. Costume? Check. Mommy, I'm ready.
Ready? Ready for what?
For Junior Kadooman and Fear in association with MQI and the Barbados Lumber Company on Saturday, July 29, 9 a.m. at the National Stadium.
Oh, yes.
I wanna go too, but I want to go in the jumping tent and ride the slides at the fair on the infield. Don't forget the big after party with Father Fox, Indian, Scrappy HD, Ramonji, Dancing Africa, Hardware, Hyper Kids, and Stiffy.
Plug into who? Plug into what? Plug into
It's only $30 and you get to bring 2 children on the 12 free.
Well, it seems like you two have everything covered. Okay, we'll go.
Thank you, Auntie. Thanks, Mommy.
Where are you going?
To ask Daddy to come so that we can take 2 more of our school friends for free.
Junior Kadooman and Fair in association with MQI and the Barbados Lumber Company. Saturday, July 29th, National Stadium.
We're hearing tonight that diabetes and its complications impact significantly on the finances of individuals, their families, and the economies of nations. It's the reason that the Guyanese population is being encouraged to ensure it's sensitized to the disease and the reduction of its prevalence.
The World Health Organization has predicted that by the year 2030, at least 36,000 persons in Guyana will have one form of diabetes as prevalence increases worldwide, particularly in low and middle income countries. With this in mind, an overseas-based Guyanese doctor, Winifred Benjamin, who recently visited her hometown of Betterverwagting, East Coast Demerara, held talks with church groups and sessions about diabetes and its complications. She also spoke with Nightly News.
Type 1, the risk factors. Type 1, it's under 30 and it's seen primarily in young adults, pre-adolescents, and younger children. That can be secondary to genetics, autoimmune, environment, or viral. Type 2, it's of the older age, the older population. It starts off mainly like in the 20s.
Dr. Winifred Benjamin giving a talk on the type of diabetes and symptoms. She explained that when locals help their communities become more sensitized in relation to diabetes and other non-communicable diseases, more lives can be saved.
Treatment options for diabetes. Three key components: nutrition, activity, medications. You're looking at your nutrition. Carbohydrates should be less on your plate as you consume your meals.
In Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Keith Rowley has broken his administration's silence for the reason for seeking the court's permission to wind up CL Financial. At a news conference, Dr. Rowley pointed to an alarming situation in which he claimed substantial profits from Angostura Limited were being shipped abroad to fund lifestyles for people outside of Trinidad and Tobago. We get more in this CNC3 report.
Would it have been proper for the government to allow this to happen and leave $15 billion of taxpayers' money unprotected?
It's the question being put to taxpayers about government's moves on CL Financial. With its application for provisional liquidators getting the court's green light this week, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley broke his silence on the move to wind up the insurance conglomerate. After 8 years, he maintained taxpayers were nowhere closer to getting back $15 billion still outstanding from the 2009 bailout.
When the private shareholders of a private company that was bailed out by taxpayers, when they move to take over the company and to expel your representative, the government, what did you expect the government to do? What we want to do is to ensure that the taxpayer money that went into these private companies is protected and there's a reasonable chance of the taxpayer getting back that money.
Dr. Rowley says when his government assumed office, it began inquiring about Angostura's earnings. The subsidiary, he says, was making hundreds of millions of dollars in profit, but none was being used to service its debt to taxpayers. What he says government found was an alarming situation where 100% of Angostura's profits was being sent to a company in Scotland purportedly owned by shareholders.
When we examined the fact, we discovered that that company did not own 100% of those profits. And in fact, 60% of it was owned by other entities. Yet, the profits were going abroad and created a pool of funds for persons outside of the government's glare.
Well, here's a tip now from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Before a hurricane, you should know the nearest hurricane shelter and have a plan for relocation to the shelter if that becomes necessary. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.